world. Let's jump right into it. So we're going to be evaluating the NBA's Eastern Conference teams heading into the NBA season for 2024 and 2025. 15 teams in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to give my predictions before the season of how I see the landscape of the NBA Eastern Conference world, and pretty much my predictions for the standings starting off. Now we got to remember before going in that these teams are not official throughout the season. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be free agent signings. There's going to be teams who are going to waive different players, so different pickups, different trades, etc., etc. Here's my initial thoughts going into the season. So starting to the first team at number 15 is going to be the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards, as of last season, finished as the 14th seed at a 15-67 record. Them and the Detroit Pistons were going back and forth, hauling over who would potentially represent the Eastern Conference in one of the worst ways possible. Now, during their offseason, they were able to make a couple moves. They were able to draft Alexander Sarr, who's 19 years old at 7'1", who did not have the greatest debuts when we're looking into the NBA preseason and as well as the draft combine and such. Hopefully there could be improvement on that side for the big man. But we're looking into the whole Washington Wizards, right? You still have Malcolm Brogdon within your team. You still have Jordan Poole, who was benched as of last season, who was pretty much unable to run that starting point guard role. There's a lot of questions within this team as well. And looking at a collective unit, I don't see much leadership to where the veterans can make big moves. Malcolm Brogdon, they just brought in Jonas Valanciunas. You have Marvin Bagley, who's approaching kind of that veteran stage. I don't see a true direction within the Washington Wizards. Personally, I believe they need to let go of Kyle Kuzma as well as Malcolm Brogdon and just blow up the whole thing whatsoever. I don't believe they're rebuilding the team to Jordan Poole in a certain way, and I don't think they think he's actually that guy as of last season's performance. But Jordan Poole at 25 years old, who played that combo guard, he'll give you 17 a game as of last season. He did shoot at a 32% three-point range, which is not the most efficient, and he's not a leader when it comes to it. So the Washington Wizards, I'm going to put them at the bottom of the bottom when it comes to the Eastern Conference, and hopefully they can get another draft pick and kind of see how things go within that range. At number 14, I'm going to go ahead and have the Brooklyn Nets. Now, the Nets are another team in this NBA Eastern Conference. I don't see a true direction for them at all. I don't know what they're doing, Ben Simmons. They have one more year within his contract before they'll let him go. There are no suitors for trades as of right now. He is owed over $40 million within this NBA season. He's 27 years of age. He's blown the last 3 seasons due to injuries, mental weakness, sitting out, and it's not been ideal for his career. His trajectory has gone down. He has huge potential still, but mentally, I think he's checked out, and he hasn't proven anything otherwise within the last 3 years. So, can I blame? No, nothing's going within there. The Brooklyn Nets, they're in a weird position because you have Cameron Thomas. They're kind of trying to build around. They couldn't build around Mikal Bridges as they made that trade and got the 4 to 5 first-round picks. So there's some direction there, which I like for the Nets. Finally, who were stop being stubborn and let go of Mikal Bridges. He's not a number one option. So right now they're in a weird position. They still are going to keep on to Nicholas Claxton. They still have Cameron Johnson, which I think they may put him in trade rumors and such. Dennis Schroeder right now, he's one of the couple other veterans they have on their team that they're just floating around for right now. Him, Bojan Bojanovic, Dorian Finney-Smith. I expect 2 out of those 3 guys during the trade deadline or before that to be gone, or at least all 3 of them in general. Those are veterans guys who need to go on to contending teams. But the Brooklyn Nets don't have a direction as of right now. They do have the draft picks to look forward to, so this is going to be a throwaway season. And hopefully this could be somewhat of a comeback season for Ben Simmons, or at least they can get a trade partner for him as well. So Brooklyn Nets at 14. At number 13, I'm going to go ahead and put no one other than the Detroit Pistons. Now the Pistons had a low-key offseason. I'm not going to lie. You're going to see the development of Kane Cunningham. They brought in Tobias Harris to play that stretch 4. They brought in some more veterans within this team, and not too bad, pretty kind of well suited out when it comes to their team as of right now. Paul Reed, they brought from Philadelphia. I think he'd be a pretty nice backup from Jalen Duren within that team. You have Tobias at the 4, Cade at the 1, Jaden Ivey at the 2. Hopefully we can see an explosion for him within this season. They brought in some throwaways like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley at the 2. So those guys, it is what it is. They just have 1 year left and they're going to be done with their contract as of right now. But hopefully the Detroit Pistons can make some of a splash, but they're definitely going to be better than last season. I fully expect on that matter. Okay, at number 12, I'm going to have the Chicago Bulls. Now, the Chicago Bulls within the last 3 seasons or so been injury prone. They've been in the middle of the Eastern Conference and either making the playoffs, barely making the playoffs, or just being in that play-in tournament. They let go of DeMar DeRozan, so he's out of there. And I was still shocked they still kept Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. Chicago's management is not going to make any moves whatsoever. They still have Billy Donovan, which I think they need to let him go. They brought in Josh Giddey within that trade. So Josh Giddey's now on the team. Lonzo Ball is finally done with rehab. They say he's looking pretty good right now. He said his knees are feeling good, start running again, playing pickup and scrimmage. So hopefully you can have a splash with Lonzo Ball and Kobe Wyatt, the 1 and 2. See who faces off that starting position. Zach LaVine, I'm not the biggest fan of him as of right now. He's not an NBA type star that can will your team. Right now in this side of his career, he needs to be a 3rd or 4th option, going around 29 and 30 years of age. I think Josh Giddey is going to have an explosion of this season. I could definitely see him crank up that 12 points per game last year from OKC to around 18 or so, having career highs in that matter. That's just kind of my thoughts within to it. But not much within there. I mean, Vucevic and Zach LaVine need to go. They need to rebuild this thing because right now there's no direction. The guys are young. They're making, there's no seriousness to them. And Chicago right now has been a joke the last year or two. So, no. All right, at number 11, let's crank this up. We have no one other than the Charlotte Hornets. Now, the Hornets have somewhat of a good direction. It's been very slow for the last 3 seasons for them within that matter. And hopefully LaMelo Ball can stay healthy when it comes to that. I want to see an emergence of Brandon Miller at the 3 heading into his 2nd season. Miles Bridges has been back on the team after accusations. I want to see an emergence for Mark Williams, their 5 as of right now. But overall, when it comes to the Charlotte Hornets, there's not much craziness to them. They need more. See, when it comes to the Charlotte Hornets right now, they have some nice pieces, building off LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller as your tier 1s, and then kind of hovering the tier 2s. You have Mark Williams and Miles Bridges, but besides that, they need to bring in a true shooting guard to come in within this team, as well as a true center. They need to bring some more veterans upon this team as of right now. There's not much seriousness to them. They're very young. I mean, you have around like 3 guys in their 30s. You have Taj Gibson, who's 39. He's probably going to be his last season. You have Seth Curry, who's probably going to retire after this season. And then you have around Cody Martin, who's been on the team, is around like 28. So the Hornets, there's not much buzz to them. They're going to have highlights, of course, but in the Eastern Conference, I don't see a play-in tournament unless there's injuries for other teams. All right, at number 10, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the Toronto Raptors. Toronto, again, there's a lot of Eastern Conference teams, but I don't see a true direction right now. A lot of these teams are in this weird mid-section of rebuilding, and they don't have the true roster for a true rebuild as of right now. If we looked at these last 5 teams, right now they're still keeping Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett as their foundation for this team, as well as having Emmanuel Quickley at 5 years, $160 million. Now, I do like how they have Bruce Brown that they could throw at their 2 as of right now. He was very good when it comes to the Denver Nuggets when they won the NBA championship. But besides that, I mean, I don't really see this as a true serious team as of right now. Jacob Poeltl at their center with Kelly Olynyk backing up. I mean, this team, I'm trying to think how they finished last season. Last season, they finished like around a 12 seed, barely under 30 games. And I think right now within this season, they'll hover around maybe 30 games just within there, maybe a little more. But I don't see this team being in the play-in tournament. It's so right on the cusp. So I'm going to keep them at 10 at the cusp right now. At number 9, I'm going to go ahead and have the Atlanta Hawks. Now, Atlanta Hawks, they have the number 1 pick in the 2024 NBA draft. And there's been some concerns and debate if Zachary Rosario is going to be, starting within this team or coming off the bench. Still to be determined as of right now, but they let go of Dejounte Murray, so you still have Trae Young, who's in trade rumors, which they couldn't find a suitable partner. So he's going to still be staying as a starting point guard. Yeah, remember Trae Young, again, even though this is going to be like his 5th or 6th season, or maybe potentially 7th. I got to look at that again. But he is 25 years of age. He's still young. So you don't have to quote-unquote blow it up with him. But I think some players who've been on the team for a minute that they need to let go are Bojan Bojanovic, and as well as Clint Capella. Long overdue when it comes to these guys. You do have some young guys that you can kind of look forward to. Jalen Johnson within there. DeAndre Hunter's always been kind of in the mix. Their backup center, Onyeka Okongwu. And then I'm trying to think who else within this team. Of course, you have your number one pick, Atlanta. They'll have some buzz. I want to see how their first rounder does in their first pick, but I think they'll be in that play-in tournament. But I don't see them going to the NBA playoffs. All right.